So next we need to remove all these 10mm bolts that hold the undershield in place. There's one in here too. So you got several of these bolts that you do need to remove to get to the drain bolt. So now we're getting ready to drain the oil. What we need to do is first slide the oil drain pan right underneath the drain bolt right here. And then with these drain bolts you don't want to use any power tools. Just use the ratchet. Make sure that your ratchet is in on the bolt securely so it doesn't hurt to just push down on the ratchet. Try to get it loose. This bolt right here is pretty tight. So, and there it is. Just broke loose. Once you get it loose, you can take off your ratchet and just remove it by hand. This bolt right here comes out very easily. Now there is a washer in there, so make sure that if you don't have a new washer, just reuse this one. Maybe clean it up a little bit. You can reuse this washer a couple of times without any problems. I'll make sure it doesn't fall into the drain pan. Be careful though, because this oil could be hot if the engine was just turned off right now. So here we just gotta be careful. And once it stops draining, we'll go ahead and put this back on. So here, once the oil completely drains, go ahead and reinstall your drain bolt. Make sure to have the washer, the copper washer, back in there. Ideally you want to install a new washer, but if you don't have a new one, you can reuse the old washer. Go ahead and thread this by hand. This bolt should go almost all the way in by hand. So don't use any ratchets here or anything like that, because you will strip these threads on the oil pan. So just go snag it tight by hand, and then put your torque wrench. Just look it up, your torque specifications. you can call your car manufacturer. But if you don't have a torque wrench, what I like to do, if a torque wrench is not in handy, just get it, once you get it snug tight, go about a quarter turn to half a turn with the ratchet. There. And that's it. So use your oil filter wrench, place it on top of the oil filter housing. Just get it loose. Now be careful because this will drip. Here we have the old oil filter and these O-rings that we do need to remove and replace. So let's start with the O-rings. A lot of times people will change the oil filter and not replace these O-rings, which what happens, they become brittle like this one. It's a sign that it hasn't been replaced with the oil filter. Look at that. Here we have the new oil filter. Make sure it's in the channel right there at the end. Let's place this one. We have this one. This last one. Now we're just gonna replace the filter here. We just pull it out. It's the old filter. And then here's the new filter. And notice those two marks right here. You gotta press it until one of them is all the way in. There you go. So that's how you know the filter is seated all the way in. Like you saw those marks, that needs to be inside, and you should be able to have that much room up here. Now we're getting ready to reinstall the oil filter. Just turn it by hand clockwise. So it goes as much as far down as you can. Now you want to torque it to about 25 Newton meters. We have our torque wrench set to 25 Newton meters. And that's it. And then the last step is to add the oil. You'd want to start with probably put in about 5 to 6 quarts and then measure the oil level and then add as required. Right here is the oil cap, which you just remove like that. And then you add your oil, whatever oil you choose. Just be careful, don't go too fast with the oil, otherwise it will overflow and then drip over the engine. So we have about 5 quarts in. You can add another quart and then check the oil level. Make sure the car is off the ramps and on a level surface so that you can get a accurate measurement. Now on some of these engines, Mercedes took off the oil level dipstick, so what that means, you have to check it through the instrument cluster, or you can buy a oil dipstick and install it and just remove that cap.